So the first thing you need to do is get ready, willing, and able. Okay. And so I have this kind of ABCD, client grading system for them. And A means active investor. That means somebody that's ready to go. They're actively looking with me. And that basically means they've got their funds in hand, their pre-approval letter out with a lender. They're ready to go. As soon as we find a property, they're putting their earnest money check down, or nowadays it's just being transferred or wired, and ready to go. I've got my B buyers, which I call my bolder buyers, and they're bolder because they're getting more and more serious about doing this, but they're not quite active, like following it every day, ready to write their check. So I've tried to move our bolder clients to the A category so that they're ready. So because it's kind of I'm also super busy trying to service the people who are ready right now. And then I got my C clients, which is, the majority of the public is C, which is contemplating. They're considering this. It's something that would be a nice consideration, right? And then we have the D people, which don't want. Anyways, we're not interested in doing this. So that's okay. You don't want to do this, but that's kind of why I kind of grade it, and I try to move everybody to the A category so that it can help them build wealth through real estate. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're prepared, get your pre-approval letter, which we help you with. We've got lots of mortgage companies that we work with, and I used to own one, so I know that they can't pull the wool over my eyes or my client's eyes. Or if you're doing cash, just your proof of funds available. Be ready to write that earnest money check or send that earnest money out via, as quickly as possible. Overnight it, or we'll just go ahead and wire it. We also are ready when the builder opens up a new section of homes. You should be there at that moment. And that's why we're out there every day. As soon as they open up a new section, there's an opportunity to buy. We just had it happen. I sold 9 houses last weekend. But just before that, we were trying to buy in another community, and some other group came in and bought 8 houses. So, So anyways, after you put the earnest money down, then the builder's agent, the on-site agent, does the contract. And then with that, we help add what we need to, the minimal amount of upgrades to make it good for rental and resale, try to keep the cost down as much as possible. And then they do the contract, and then it is a docu-signed out to the client. The next thing that would happen is that you're going to sign that contract, and then we're also going to help you with the upgrades. So there's a certain amount of upgrades you want to do, and then there's the decorating session where we actually put the different color schemes, and we make that really easy. And I handle that for our clients. Our team handles that. We know what to put in the houses, and we work directly, because if someone wants to get involved in their decorating from California or from New York, that's fine. We'll do it through Zoom or whatever. But for the most part, most of my clients just go, "Ken, you've been doing this a long time, and I've decorated hundreds of houses. Just do what's right." So that makes it easier on everybody. And at the same time you're doing your contract, you're going to go ahead and get your loan approval done. And I have an 8-minute podcast we did a while ago about the builder's lender as opposed to an outside lender. And so if anybody's interested in knowing how that all works, it's basically the builder's lender may get some incentives for getting for being the builder's preferred lender, but there's outside lenders that can beat that quote oftentimes. It just depends which builder you're going with. All right. So the only 2 things you really have to do is get ready to write the check when you find the right house and apply for your loan. We handle everything else. So, and then we do all of the walkthroughs during construction. Our team does the walkthroughs. In other words, there might be a pre-drywall walk where we walk and look at where the cables are and everything like that. We handle that for you. Obviously, we're not going to fly in for that. We also handle the final walkthroughs, which is, making sure everything's tagged up so that the cosmetics get done so that's 100% perfect at closing. And we don't like closing unless the house is 99.98 finished, because we don't want the builder going back into the house with their contractors. It's a pain in the butt.
And it's little things too, like just little outlet covers that aren't screwed in. You let them get away with that, they're not coming.
We couldn't get towel bars back.
Right.
Towel bars, they didn't put the towel bars in, and we're like,
right.
And what, you're going to take work off, or have people with masks on coming in and putting your towel bars in? Better to get the house finished. And that's what we really pet peeve, because we want to get these things rented, and we don't want to have to wait for things to be finished. So Then after all that process, so basically you put your money down, you've signed the contract, we've helped out with all the deco, then let them build the house. That's really pretty much it. And so you're looking at 6, 8, maybe even 10 months now. Once again, we don't, for me, I want it to close right now is a perfect time to buy because they're going to close in summertime. And that's the best rental time. So let them build a house and put your head on the pillow. Don't worry about it. And really, you can't even lock your mortgage rates in until 60 days before closing. And that's a whole nother story why our market's blowing up is rates right now about 3.375 plus minus for a investor loan. They're in the 2s, obviously, for the owner occupieds.
Lowest
cheapest
in 30
money,
years.
Well, cheapest ever.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to continue to, people, so you look at it as an investor, that's just improved most of our investors' cash flow by $200 a month.
Yeah.
Just for rates. Okay. So then let them build a house and then you handle your walkthroughs. But then about a few weeks before closing, we start the activity of getting prepared for closing. May want to order a private third-party inspection on the builders or with the, help them to make sure that they have peace of mind. I'd say about 70% of my investors will do a third-party inspection. The other quarter are not worried about it. So, but we handle that and make sure that that's done because that's needed before the final walkthrough. We also get you set up with the management agreement, whether with our company or one of our preferred management companies, so that we can get the pre-leasing started. So we can get the leasing activity going ahead of time. And this happened really, really, really good in one of our submarkets where we were getting people a month or 2 ahead of time pre-leasing these properties. We had a lady who was coming to take a job as a teacher. She knew where she was going. She knew when she was going to be there, but it wasn't going to be for a month or 2, but we had the properties. We do what's kind of like a domino effect. We have, like I said, we sold 8 houses in one neighborhood. And so what'll happen is the first one that closes is bait. So we do all the leasing on that. And then what happens is as soon as they call or as they pick a flyer out of the box, it's like, oh, wow, look, there's that one down the street and that one down the street. Those are all coming up there. So that's what's really been effective. That 0405 boom, when we were doing that, it was super effective that we use houses as bait. We're getting them leased because, well, that one's not ready, but we got this one down there. Oh, that works out better for me. So, so the pre-leasing activities and getting the tenants interested in these areas. Then it gets time you got everything ready for closing. You get your funds lined up. You're going to wire it most likely, or when we talked about wiring, be careful with that. A lot of fraud going on that. Yeah. And then we'll also do mostly remote signing. In fact, it's becoming even more obviously because of the health reasons. They're preferring remote signing, and actually you do remote notary these days. Nice. I just had a remote notary from Japan.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, they were closed.
The world's getting smaller, Ken.
Yeah, I know. It really
is.
Remote zooming. Yeah. A Zoom close, right? So. Okay, and then you're closing. Then we go get the keys, put the sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and then get it leased and get it up and running. And so I wanted to go over that because a lot of people are asking and saying, well, what happens next? What happens next? And so I am writing a book about investing. This called Turnkey Profits, which is really this is what this is. We try to keep it as turnkey as possible, where you're not that much involved in it unless you want to be. Always available for questions, especially by text. That really helps a lot because a lot of people have a lot of questions. A lot of people don't have many questions at all. They just believe in the process. Right.
Well, you're doing the right thing, and we mentioned it before. You mentioned it again. This is what Ken and his team. That's what just like people do their whatever job that they do. This is what Ken does.
It's fun, but it's frustrating. It's challenging. But we're up for it, and I've been through this. I've been in the business for 35 years. I started as an investor, and I've been through booms and busts in 3 different states. And I've been through since '93. I've been through the ups and downs in Austin. And Austin right now is on fire, and it will be. Well, sorry, we don't want to use that. Yeah. And the one last thing about that whole thing about people migrating here, and it's unfortunate we keep all those people with the, in the fire in the area and not being able to leave their homes and stuff like that. Very frustrating, along with everything else, with the government taxing even higher, and just especially the wealthy are getting taxed even higher. So really have a feeling for people who want to get their wealth transferred out of these high areas like California that are suffering so much. Right. And that also translates, once they start looking at Austin, often translates to a move.
Yeah,
So,
it does. It does. You're welcome to come to Texas.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
What is it? As long as you don't.
Hey, you're welcome to come to Texas. Just don't put beans in our chili. That's it. Just don't let me catch you putting beans in the chili.
Yeah. One last thing on that whole moving from California or moving from the East Coast is that we talked about that. Is there a backlash of saying like Californians go home or New Yorkers go home? Not really, because everybody that's here pretty much came from somewhere else.
Yeah, especially in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in
Austin.
Yeah.
And you and I have been here a long time.
Yeah, we've seen it all.
Yeah, I've seen it all for sure. The growth is amazing, but good.
It's good. And now they're all moving to the suburbs. So, I'm blessed to be in the forefront of that, and but challenged to, just like everybody else is trying to find houses.
Yeah. Well, again, Ken, always good seeing you.
Good. Hey, thanks. You can reach me, Kenn Renner, Kenn, Kenn at buyaustin.com. Sandy, it's a great time talking with you.
Thanks, man.
See you.